Welcome everybody back to the channel. Today we're looking at a huge question. Who is the greatest Formula 1 driver of every decade? From the 1950s all the way to the 2020s. We'll break down each era and we will look at what the stats say and highlight the legends who define their time. Let's get into it. Welcome to the 1950s, a time when the cars were fast, the tracks were dangerous, and the drivers, well, they were built different. Safety? They never heard of it, and I was leading this decade like the final boss was Juan Manuel Fangio. This guy would show up and put on his little helmet and absolutely embarrass everyone with a win rate that looks like a cheat code. 46 win rate, 24 wins and 5 championships. He was basically doing a speedrun of his career. His best race of that decade was the 1957 German Grand Prix. Fangio had a turbo pit stop. He fell way behind and said, "Okay, time to break the lap record 10 times in a row." 10 times! He hunted down the two forests like he was chasing the last cheap pizza slice at the party. Even his rivals said they have never seen anything like it. Honorable mentions are Alberto Ascari, peak Italian chaos, and Sterling Moss, the best driver who never got a championship. Welcome to the 60s, rock music, questionable fashion, and the tracks that were basically country roads. And in the middle of it, Jim Clark, the man who drove the car like it was part of his soul. He didn't fight the car simply obeyed to his needs. His stats were 2 championships, 25 wins, 33 poles, and he also just won Indy 500 casually, like it was a hobby to him. Clark was so quick that the people thought his stopwatch was basically lying to us. His best race in that decade was the 1965 Belgian Grand Prix. Imagine this, the old Spa, heavy rain, visibility is completely null, drivers spinning like confused turtles. Clark, he wins by 3 minutes like he's trying to get home before dinner gets cold. Iconic. You have Jack Brabham as an honorable mention and Graham Hill, the man had style and speed of course. The 1970s belonged to the great Niki Lauda. The 70s were pure chaos. Cars were fast, drivers had huge sideburns, and the danger level was basically Dark Souls. The king of this decade is Niki Lauda, the human calculator. He approached racing like it was a science experiment. He analyzed, adjusted, and then destroyed everybody on a race on Sunday. His stats in the 70s are 2 titles, 15 wins, 19 pole positions. His best moment, of course, the comeback from his horrific crash in the Nürburgring when he nearly died. It's a great movie about this, The Rush. You should really watch it if you haven't watched it yet. His crash was absolutely horrific. I don't know how he survived it, but it's Niki Lauda, of course. He came back in Monza while his hands were still burned from the accident and his face was completely fucked up. He came back 6 weeks later, still injured, still bandaged, still in pain, but he still finished 4th in the home race of his team. Iconic. The 1980s, turbo engine, smoke, drama, and haircuts that should never ever come back. The start of this era, Alain Prost, aka the Professor. Why the nickname? Because he drove the car like he was doing math homework at 300 km per hour. Tire, fuel load, race strategy, all calculated perfectly. His stats in this decade were 3 titles, 32 wins and 70 podiums. His best race, I would say the Australia final in 1986. This race was a telenova, 3 drivers fighting for the championship, but one came out, because Mansell's tire exploded, Piquet needed to pit, Prost has a damaged car, but he still somehow finished, and he wins the title. Amazing. He basically said, if you won't win it for yourselves, I'll do it. Fantastic. Welcome to the 1990s, an era of crazy fast F1 cars, rivalries hotter than a Brazilian summer, and some of the most iconic moments in racing history. And right in the center of it all, Ayrton Senna. Senna wasn't just a driver, he was kind of a guy who made other drivers question their career choices. If Formula 1 was a video game, Senna was the DLC boss you weren't ready for. This man didn't handle tricky conditions, he thrived in them. Rain? Alright. Low grip? Even better. Car misbehaving? Perfect. His stats in the 90s were 2 championships, 21 wins, 36 podiums, and 26 poles. The days were just belonged to Senna. fantastic. Senna poles were less like driving and more like some kind of meditation session where he merged with the car. His best race, the 1991 Brazilian Grand Prix. The entire country is cheering. Senna is leading. Everything looks perfect. Then suddenly, the gearbox says, "No, mate, not today." He loses gear after gear. Third, gone. Fourth, nah, not today. Fifth, nowhere to be seen. He's stuck basically in one gear, dragging that car around the track like he's forcing it through sheer stubbornness. Most drivers would retire. Senna, he just grabbed the steering wheel like he was trying to bend reality. He crossed the line first, arms shaking, barely able to lift the trophy afterwards. The win wasn't just a victory, it was a battle of willpower. Absolutely insane. His second race, best race, I would say the 1993 Donington Park, the lap of gods. It's raining. Everybody's struggling. And then Senna just activates something else. He drops to 5th off the start, and within one lap he overtakes everyone with fantastic moves, and he goes from P5 to P1 within a lap. Everybody thought it was a video game. They couldn't believe what they saw. The greatest driver of all time, most people would say, and it's very hard to disagree with them. The best ever in this decade. Senna, Ayrton Senna. And now we enter the 2000s, where Ferrari was basically the final boss of Formula 1, and leading that big red army was Michael Schumacher, winning 5 championships in a row, and with 56 wins in this decade alone, he was completely a master of the 2000s. His best race would be the 2004 French Grand Prix. The French Grand Prix at Monaco is peak Schumacher. By this point, Ferrari and Schumacher were basically untouchable, but he still made the race look very easy. He qualified on pole, of course, and from the start he was just on another level. While other drivers were fighting for position, fumbling with tires and strategy, Schumacher carved through the corners with surgical precision. He managed to control every aspect of the race: pace, tire wear, fuel management, traffic, all while keeping a very calm demeanor. By the time his checkered flag came out, he had won comfortably, making it look like a Sunday morning drive. What makes this drive stand out isn't just the speed, it's the mastery. Every lap was calculated, flawless, and a textbook of perfect racing. Even his main rivals admitted later watching him that day was like watching a professor at work. This sums up Schumacher in the 2000s. Dominant, yet elegant, ruthless, yet controlled, a driver who could win without ever looking stressed. The 2010s were all about crazy fast cars with hybrid engines, and a man who handled it like a pro, Lewis Hamilton. Hamilton wasn't just quick, he seems like he knows the track before he gets there. The rain, tire problems, traffic, it doesn't matter. He just drives like he's always in total control. He's smooth, smart, and makes it look easy, even when he's fighting everyone else for the win. His stats in the 2010s were 5 championships, 73 wins, and 110 podiums. Hamilton isn't just fast, he's consistent. He knows how to manage a car, pick the right strategy, and stay cool under pressure. His best drive, the 2018 German Grand Prix. This is classic Hamilton. He starts P14 after a problem in qualifying. Most drivers would panic. Hamilton, he just says, okay, I will just pass everybody. It's raining, cars are crashing, and he weaves through the chaos like it's nothing. And by the end, he wins the race, starting 14th and winning in the rain. That's pure skill, and that is just Lewis Hamilton in a nutshell. The best driver of this decade is of course Max Verstappen. An era of crazy fast hybrid cars, tire strategies that can make or break a race, and a return of ground effect, making the corners even wilder. And the guy who's been dominating it all, Max Verstappen. Max isn't just fast, he's fearless. He takes risks that other drivers wouldn't even dream about. He's aggressive, but smart with him. And he knows how to put his car to the absolute limit. His stats in this decade so far are 4 World Championships, it could potentially be 5 at the end of this year, we shall see. 69 wins and still counting. He's been one of the most dominant drivers in F1 history. Max is the kind of driver who makes you hold your breath every time you watch him. Sometimes you cheer, sometimes you gasp, but you can't take your eyes off him. His best drive, I would say, is the 2022 Belgium Grand Prix, masterclass from P14. This race was pure Max. He started P14 because of a grid penalty, not because of a bad qualifying. The track was dry, but overtaking his bar in this decade of F1 cars is not very easy. Max calmly picked off car after car with precision, staying patient when needed, and attacking when there was space. I feel like he gained positions, flawlessly managing his tires and pace until he finally crossed the line in P1. What makes this drive the best of his career? It wasn't about luck, it wasn't rain, it was just raw skill, smart strategy, and perfect execution, turning a mid-pack start into a victory at one of the F1's toughest track is just pure Verstappen magic. Well, there you have it. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.